Hello, Dana Pro Trading family. This is J Mob 123, aka the Pip Dealer. Once again, I'm here using the Pro Concepts indicator. The Pro Concepts Smart Money Indicator has many great features. For this video, I'm going to specifically show you what FVG means and how to use it and give a little bit more explanation. So, what is a FVG? FVG stands for Fair Value Gap. It can also be known as an order block. Now, an order block can also be known as a special supply and demand zone, or even think of it as a special support and resistance zone. So think of resistance at the ceiling and support at the floor. So I'm going to draw a little person here. Here's a little person here, right? And this person got a little leg here, and he has a little leg there, a little leg here. And he can reach up to the sky, right? That. And he has a little, put a little dot here, right? For his eye. Dot there. Kind of a dot right there, I guess. A little smiley face, I guess. Kind of bugged out, but I guess you kind of get to see what it is. So we'll put some X's in here for his eyes, I guess. He's kind of bugged out here, right? He looks kind of bugged out here, but this is let me put it here. Put another X right there. All right, and that's my. He looks kind of bugged out right now, but that's okay. All right, that's him right there, smiling because he's getting ready to trade right now. But you can bring. This is the floor here, right? Floor. There's a little floor he's sitting on, and this is a little ceiling up here. Ceiling. It's kind of tight. It's tight right there, right? So I can come in here and put support or floor. This is the floor, right? The floor he's on because he's standing on the support of the floor. Or he's going to look in the sky and he's going to see resistance, right? Or ceiling. So this little man here is caught up in this box right here. Here's his little box right here, right? This is his little room right there. His little room is right here, right? His little room right there. And the little room right there, almost like in a cage, but he's in a little room right there. So this is the support and floor, right? Support, floor. And this is his resistance, ceiling. So he's at this resistance here and support and floor. So this FVG, again, is a special type of support and resistance zone. All right. So since we have this here, we get the resistance and ceiling and support and floor. So let me go ahead and delete all this off here. And let's go over the fair value gap. So I told you the fair value gap was like support and resistance. So we can come up here and we can put a line up here to denote resistance. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna write resistance up here. Remember, I'm on the 4-hour time frame. Resistance, right? So these fair value gaps here will be these areas right in here. So they're like resistance zones in a way. So let me clone this here and bring it over here. So this is like a little resistance zone right here. This is a resistance zone right here. Right? And we can denote, let's look at all the resistance zones. Resistance zones are where price rejected. And what I mean by rejected is that they hit the ceiling, right? They hit the ceiling right here and they rejected and they broke away. They hit the ceiling almost here, created this little level right here and it broke away. So what I'm currently in right now is, this is a fair value gap right here, FVG, because it's like a resistance zone, right? So since this is a resistance zone right here, we want to say, okay, well, what is an FVG? Well, an FVG is like an order block, right? I can put that in there. Let me put this in here. Let me just put it in there. It's like an order block. Right. think of an order block as where institutions put in multiple orders. So this is a nice little resistance zone right here. So this here, this is right just over here. This is an order block right here. This little red zone right here, this little red zone here is an order block, or also known as a fair value gap. So I'm going to denote that with my little arrow here. It's right here. This is a little resistance zone here, a soft resistance zone right there, right? So why is this fair value gap important when it comes to price? Well, let's see what we had here. We see that price came up to this zone right here, came up here, came right in here, right? And it made kind of a resistance up in this zone right here. So, and we noticed that price rejected away. The price came here, right? And then it rejected away, came in here. And then this little order block got created. And if you notice, the candle that it's kind of representing is this one here. So this is kind of like a fair value gap candle. And you can see that where are the lines for this candle? It shows kind of like in the body of the candle. And this little dotted line here is what I call the midpoint. This is the midpoint here. This little dotted line, it's like a highway, right? It's like a highway, and it has a little, it's like a highway. It has a little lane change in there, little lane change in there. This is the midpoint. Call that midpoint. Why are these things important? Well, they're important because I can see the overall downtrend of NOS, right? It's clearly downtrend. So when price came down to here, came to this candle right here, right? We can call that the FVG candle. I think I called that there. Let me call it here, clone FVG candle. So an FVG candle was formed. So this is very important because once this FVG candle was formed, then this little order block got processed, right? So this is a resistance zone. So once this candle closed, this candle right here closed, next candle opened up here. And you can see that this candle here wicked into the zone here. See that little wick right there? It's red, but you have to look kind of hard to see. This little, what I could do is put a little line here. This line is going to denote, let me change it to white. This line is going to denote the top of the FVG, okay? So I'm gonna take the indicator off to show you where that candle wicked up in there. Oh, actually it didn't. But okay, so the candle didn't wick up in there, but the candle touched the top or the bottom of the FVG. See, it touched the bottom of it right here. So this candle here rejected, and then it broke away. So this would be a good entry here, right in here. Let me put an entry here, entry there. I didn't catch that wick, but even if it wicked, we want to see it wick, or we want to see it reject from this area right here. So this would have been a nice entry level here. Enter on close of FVG candle. Could have entered there on the close of the FVG candle here in a 4-hour time frame. Once this candle closed right here, you could enter right here. And then you'd have taken, this is the resistance zone here. So the resistance zone on the FVG order blocks right here, right? We would like to see the candle come up into the midpoint and retest that and then break away, but it didn't. So we can still take the trade right here on the FVG here. Remember, this is the order block, and this is, remember, this is resistance up here. The red is resistance, the blue support. We can write it in there too, right? Let me write that in there again so you'll know. The red is resistance. Now, this little gray area is a new feature. It's called the golden FVG. And to me, that's just another fancier order block. But what this does is you can see how all these candles are retesting this golden FVG. I'm gonna write that in there so I'll know what it is. So you can see it being golden for this particular example, golden FVG, because look at how many candles are look how many candles are in this zone retesting. This was the candle that broke, right? We entered the trade right there. But look how many candles you got that retested this zone, is playing this zone. This one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. After the 11th candle, you see it dropped again. So this here, the X stands for, you look at the X, right? X, what's X stand for? That's the candles that retested the golden FVG. That's what X stands for, right? X. We can do X. So that's what that stands for. Delete. Clear this out. All right, that's what X stands for, X. So you know what X stands for, X. All those candles you see are retesting, retest, this retest, retest. This broke through a little bit. This broke through a little bit, retest, 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 retest. And then it finally dropped back down. It dropped back down to the second golden FVG. See? So this is number 2. And this is number 1. But this all still means that it's still a downtrend. So you see that at the end of this order block, this candle would have been the entry, and you would have rolled it. You could swing this trade because this here is another form of resistance right in here. This resistance along with this other form of resistance here. In this area here, this is a golden FVG resistance zone. So we got all these candles here that are retesting, right? And then we have this long candle here that broke to the downside. And then we got this candle here, right? This candle here, the blue, wicked into the FVG zone, FVG zone, right? So this is the wick. So this is kind of what we were talking about earlier. The candle wicks, wicked into the golden FVG zone, or you can call it rejection, right? Rejection of the golden FVG zone. And then what happened? Price broke down. So I'll put this up here someplace right there, right? And then price broke away. This is rejection right here, rejection. And then it broke down to where we are now. And now it's in the second golden FVG zone. Remember, this is a 4-hour time frame. So this is a live chart. Okay. Now these blue FVGs are support zones. So coming down here, this is a support zone, and you see that I have a few of these support zones. All right, support zone, or being what? The floor. you can think of this like an apartment. Here's the third floor. Here's the second floor, right? And then we got a teeny weeny one down here someplace, I think, on the city. All right, so I think that's supports down here. So you would think that when you get support, this is where prices tend to reverse right in here. This is support right in here. This is a support zone or a support FVG gap, right? You probably put it in there too, right? Put it in there. This is where's the FVG gap order block right here, right? This is order block right here. Boom. This is a FVG gap right here, right? Right here. Boom. Whatever here. Boom. Here. And here, right? Nice feature in TradingView. You can grab the thing. Let's break it down like this. Okay, so that's my forgot so far. The blue is the support zone, right? And the red is the resistance zone. So you can see in this particular instance here, how would I use the fair value gap? Well, like again, I said, I use it as an order block. So this would have been a nice entry here. So if I would have entered this trade here, I would have this trade. And this would have been, you could have gotten out here, but you could have held this trade because you've got all these candles. You got 11 candles. These are what I call retest candles. So remember I said candles that retested the golden FVG over here. And then it finally broke down again. And this is where we are currently. So this is a small little video of how you use the fair value gaps. Remember, fair value gap is a fancy word for an order block, support resistance, supply and demand, but we're using it as support and resistance. And you can see how this would have been used to analyze this trade.